Should be good, Joe.
All right. I call the, excuse me. I call the special council at 5 o'clock or I'm sorry, at 6 o'clock to order. First item is B on the agenda, organizational structure, clerk, finance department. We've talked about this in the past. We have our charts over there. Jesse, do you have anything that you want to add to it?
I don't have any additional suggestions from what was discussed at the strategic planning session. Without our mayor here, which I believe she's coming shortly, I think she requested that we wait to vote on this matter, so possibly even wait to discuss this matter, perhaps until she's here. Was that what her wish was? For
Yeah.
whoever talked to her?
I think she's 5 minutes out.
Okay. Okay.
One thing I was wondering is, are we waiting or do you want to discuss?
Well, let's discuss. We got
Yeah,
nothing else to do.
I was just wondering, do we need a finance director when we don't have a finance department?
I think that's a good question. I think what might be warranted is a discussion for our current finance specialist once assuming, of course, we find a replacement city administrator / clerk, find that deputy clerk / admin assistant as it's posted now. Perhaps we can consider a promotion of the sorts with a senior title added to the financial specialist position. Doesn't have to be a director of finance position. I think the reason why I said director of finance at the strategic planning session is because that's what we have at my business, and it's just something that we have our accounting and finance structure set as. Up for discussion.
Good. Well, I was looking into that when I saw that on there and what I can see is municipalities usually don't have a finance director until they have a $50-60 million budget and more people, so because they're taking on more people, but I can see where you're wanting to. I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Miss Peggy stuck with us through it all so far, I should say. And I think the experience probably going to warrant this type of discussion at some point anyway. So perhaps we're being proactive and showing appreciation in regards to the more senior title in that role. Director of finance doesn't have to be applicable here, no, in my opinion.
It's like a senior finance specialist or however that, whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah, actually, even the title finance specialist has always intrigued me. Where did that title even come from? Is that just a municipal position?
Yeah, there's a few cities like Baxter has a finance specialist. Breezy has a finance specialist. I think sometimes they go hand in hand with finance director. But Baxter does have a finance director. They have a little bit more people and staff.
Yeah, because they've got a few other finance people underneath them too, yeah. One that we're looking at. So we're looking at keeping a city administrator or administrator clerk through the structure?
Well, I've made it clear, I think, enough by now. That's what I'm in favor of.
City administrator, yeah. Okay.
And I think that there's some good discussion. I mean, really the takeaway that I had, and I hope you all had too, I know you weren't able to attend, but the takeaway that I hope that we had from the strategic planning session was I thought we all stacked hands on this type of city structure. Now I'm losing my voice like Joe too. We stacked hands on this city structure. We stacked hands on taking our quote homework of reviewing the personnel policies, the job duties and descriptions for the main three positions of city administrator / clerk, deputy clerk, with some administrative assistant duties accompanied to it. And then what does that finance position maybe look like beyond where it's at today, right? So how we got to this discussion now of having a clerk is due to Mayor Carnahan. She's coming in now, so I'm sure she'll have an opinion on the matter. But I hope that we can all collectively stack hands and be confident in the path that we're moving forward in, simply due to the notion that we've applied for a grant to search for the city administrator / clerk. We've not yet initiated them because we're trying to get this job duty and description finalized, so.
So do we want to clarify as a city administrator, administrator clerk, we'll discuss that and go. What's the big difference between a administrator and administrator clerk?
What was that?
What is the distinction between a city administrator and an administrator clerk? Besides pay is lower on a administrator clerk.
Well, they would be doing clerk duties, so like if you want to go to a administrator, you're gonna need a clerk. Cities have to have a clerk and finance. And so if you want to do the administrator / clerk, then they will do clerk duties on top of administrative duties. They go hand in hand.
That's what I figured. Okay, thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Maggie, but we have had that city administrator / clerk structure. However, we've employed a city clerk. Is that right?
When we first, I'll say this go round for the administrator 7 years ago, it was a administrator clerk treasurer. Because at that point in time, I was the deputy city clerk, so we did not have anybody in that finance role. So they did they were like in charge of everything, clerk, finance, and administration, even, so I just assisted all of those activities at that point in time. And then the administrator at the time wanted to get rid of some of the day-to-day duties and hired a city clerk. So they took the clerk out of that job title. So she was administrator treasurer and then hired the city clerk. And then I received a promotion to finance specialist.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late. So you guys are still on the first agenda
Yeah.
item and just in discussion, was
just
there
discussion.
discussion? No.
Yeah, just kind of talking about the retreat and the information out of that. Jesse, just kind of recap that.
I just questioned if we really needed a finance director, and it kind of, at this point, no, we don't. Just taking our finance specialist with a promotion. And then talking, do we want city administrator or administrator clerk? I'm all for city administrator. That's where I'm at.
Did everybody else indicate where they're at yet?
No, we were kind of waiting for you.
Okay.
Saw you pull in.
Do you guys know where you're at or do you need more discussion?
I know where I'm at.
Okay, Bruce, do you know where you're at?
You know, at this point, I don't know. Maybe an administrator type thing, but maybe a financial director with a clerk and a deputy clerk.
Okay. Jesse, do you know where you're at?
Yes,
Okay,
city administrator.
and Joe?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think though that we do want to combine some of the positions. So back to, what Maggie just said, I don't know that we need 4 separate people and separate titles, that we can combine up some of these roles and duties.
Do,
Do we want to look at administrator treasurer?
well, right now, the current structure of the city right now is an administrator treasurer.
Right.
And then a clerk and then finance specialist.
Right.
Right, but the council has approved a deputy clerk, right? So that position is approved, so. And I apologize, I don't know what the discussion was before I got here, but,
Very, and really just.
It just started
we were
right
just
before you
finding
came
time.
in.
oh, I drove like, I've never driven that fast in my life. Does anyone have a motion they'd like to make as it relates to the main position, which we have been discussing for some time.
Well, what I'd like to do is put a motion forward that we proceed with the city administrator.
A city administrator only or an administrator treasurer?
I would say administrator treasurer. That's how I'd look at it. Somebody else may say, so just hear me through. City administrator treasurer as we have it right now. And when they come in, have them, we've already decided we want a deputy clerk, and that's fine. And go that route. If somebody else wants it different, just let me know.
Okay, so your motion is,
I didn't make a motion. I said if I were, that's what I would be.
okay,
is keep it
so
at that.
that's not a
I
motion.
just want to hear what Jesse has to say.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we establish that the city organization structure is as follows. City administrator / clerk with a finance specialist / treasurer and with a deputy clerk / administrative assistant.
Can I ask one clarifying question to that motion? Is the structure that admin clerk, finance specialist, treasurer, deputy clerk, admin into the administrator?
Yes.
Okay. So Councilmember Zahn has made a motion, admin / clerk under the council, and then finance specialist / treasurer and deputy clerk / admin. Do we have a second?
Will those positions be right underneath the administrator clerk?
He said,
Or
yes.
will, okay,
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we had a whiteboard in here, right? Wouldn't it?
I'll second. I'll second.
Do we want to use?
Okay.
those?
No, I,
Councilmember Fraley, second.
if we're all on the same page.
think
of-
we're all
of
on the
what-
same
of
page.
What the hierarchy
Correct.
tree looks like, yes.
Is there any additional discussion to this motion? Councilmember
Yep.
London,
When,
Councilmember Fraley.
just when can we have a contract signed so that we can get them looking for someone, searching for the.
We should do this motion first and
Right.
then come to that second. Additional discussion, input, questions, feedback, Councilmember Hall.
But it just
It goes like this.
Seconded that.
marked it.
That is how,
It's Joe, it's the same as this.
Right, same
Just
as
the
that.
title's changed. This
Right.
title's different.
Yep.
That's it.
Right.
Okay, no additional discussion, comments, question, input? I'd like to move to a roll call vote then. Councilmember Fraley, we'll start with you. All those in favor signify by saying aye and we'll do a roll call.
Mhm.
Or oppose, say nay.
Mark Fraley, yes.
Bruce London, yes.
I vote yes.
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 Okay, motion carries. Okay, the next item on our continuation is ordinance / policies / personnel policy discussion. What I would say here is, I know we had all kind of tasked ourselves with going through the personnel policies manual and doing a deep dive into that and coming here with feedback, but I feel like until we identified the structure, it's hard to make proposed recommendations as to changes to the personnel policy manual in particular, and policies, because we needed to get this set. So unless other members of the council are clear on direction they'd like to make, I would actually ask that we continue this portion to give us more time now that we've set this clear.
The only piece that I would add there is if we want to seriously start to get this search underway, could we consider taking, right?
Yep.
Just to get the search out there, to initiate the search firm? Could we stack hands on the job description that we have currently adopted within the city to be able to proceed?
Yes.
Do you think that will suffice?
Well,
That actually technically falls back under B, not C, right? Because C is around ordinance changes, around the position, the policies around it, and the personnel policy. So the job description would fall under the organization structure of it, right? To approve the job description, to your point, and Councilmember Fraley, to your point, so that we can have consensus as a council on that job description. So then, yes, the contract can get signed. The
Yep,
job
yep.
description's in hand. We can start the search, so we
Mhm.
don't lose more time on that.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, because I don't want to lose time on this.
Yep. I don't know if the rest of council, because we didn't know where we'd go tonight with the motion, if the rest of council has actually had a chance to go through all the job descriptions, be thoughtful about it, have input to changes, additions, how things would look or not. It appears that you perhaps have, I've looked at it a little bit too.
Have, but even in this infinite stack of papers, I don't have my actual notes. They're still in my office. Um, Perhaps you all could continue this topic to the November regular council meeting or prior to?
Do we want to wait another month to continue a job description approval, or do we want to continue this maybe to next week if there's a time when we're all available? It doesn't necessarily have to be in the evening. It could be in the morning. We could come together for an hour. We each have our homework. We take all these job descriptions. We know the structure, and then we come together and come to consensus on that so that we can get the search started versus pushing it off for another 30 days.
I'm ready right now.
Oh, you're ready?
I am, but
I think I got a top of head too.
Okay.
Why not?
If
right?
you guys are,
We got another
go for it.
43 minutes.
Yeah.
I would say discuss it now because we got time.
All right.
So what do you have, Mark?
I I didn't see any changes that I wanted to change. The,
Are you, are you referencing the job description document right now, not the personnel policy manual? Can we just get clarity on that for everybody?
I didn't see any changes that I wanted to make.
Okay, so you have no changes to the current job description as it stands for the city for the administrator treasurer position?
Correct.
Okay. Councilmember Zahn, do you have changes to that job
I
description?
do with the job title. We will have to remove treasurer and place clerk. Few moments. I know I had one change in the essential functions that's not coming to top of head right now.
I think it might be this one, Jesse. Like that might slightly amend because the treasurer,
Yes,
this one.
I don't think that was the one I was thinking,
Oh,
but
okay.
yes. So coordinates the city budget process and capital improvement planning, recommends budget and fiscal policy to the council. I think we will want to consider adjusting that appropriately for the treasurer. I should say the financial specialist slash treasurer, right? But not to the fullest extent. So when we're talking about capital, yep, just portion. So I would, well, the word coordinating is,
Because you still want the admin clerk, you know, if they're in this core position,
Yeah.
reporting to the council and the department heads are reporting into that position. That position, you would still want them to have some financial management leadership,
absolutely.
right? So there's a way to wordsmith this where a portion of this goes to the finance specialist slash treasurer, but they're working in coordination and conjunction with the admin clerk,
Mhm.
I like that.
right?
Yes.
Notes. Now what?
Okay, so that's bullet point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe it just wordsmiths to say coordinates the city's budget process in conjunction with the
Yeah.
finance specialist slash treasurer and capital, so you add it there, and then you continue on, and capital improvement planning recommends budget and fiscal policy to the city council.
Like it?
Okay,
Let's see. Third from the bottom should be number 10. Works with financial consultant, bond counsel, TIF funds, and auditors. Is that a city administrator function, or is that a treasurer function, or a mix of both?
Both.
You know what? I don't know if I can say in the utmost confidence right now that I am
100%.
comfortable to be able to just go through this and go and stack hands. Hate to schedule another meeting, just to schedule another meeting. However, taking the three that we have right now, the three positions, I would like to take some time, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, we've,
So
we've
we can
continued
table
this
this
meeting
till-
5 times, so why not 6?
So we can table this until, we say early next week.
Can we find a date where we could all agree on early next week to continue the job descriptions? And then if we want to also continue C, ordinances will fall into obviously the new structure. If we take, and then everybody does really need to take their time and diligence to look through this, come prepared with your notes, your feedback, right? So we can have robust discussion about it and come to alignment and agreement on it.
Maybe I could make a recommendation. Last time and or the first time, a city administrator was brought into the city. Forgive me, that group, that
DDA.
DDA did that whole comprehensive study on our city or town, how it should be set up and structured. I have read through that whole report on how this should be set up and structured. We paid that consultant to do that, and I think that's a good starting point to look at to go forward with some of this stuff. It was all laid out in that report pretty nice. If everyone could get a copy of that and that be our starting point, I think that's a good point. Just because since that was done, there's been so many changes since.
Are Joe and I the only ones that have looked at that?
No, I've looked through
Okay,
it.
good.
Yep. I'm sure Jesse has too, and Bruce, because it was in our,
Yeah.
it was a part of our packet for the
Okay.
council retreat, so everybody should have it, and if they don't, I'm sure we can get it out again. Do we have a date next week?
I'm not available on the 29th or 30th next week. So it'd have to be Monday, Tuesday, or Friday.
How does Tuesday look potentially for folks?
I'm
Morning
open
or
Tuesday.
evening?
Well, does AM work for you? AM work for
Yep.
you? How does it? Maggie, would a 9 AM be appropriate for you? Okay.
So
9 a.m.
Tuesday at 9,
Potentially?
Tuesday
Yeah.
at 9?
Okay.
fine.
See what Maggie has.
Okay, so we should make a motion to
I'll-
continue.
I'll handle
Okay.
that.
I have a hard stop at 1:30. Just saying.
Maggie's funny today. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to continue this meeting. Continue the meeting from September 18th, 23rd, 30th, and October 8th, 2025. And today to Tuesday, October 28th at 9 AM to discuss both items B and C.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any additional discussion? Joe?
Yes, we didn't talk about any of the personnel policies. We were just talking about the job description right now, but,
Jesse said to continue that.
right, but if we could get the current copies of those also too for this.
So copies of job descriptions for city administrator / clerk, deputy clerk / administrative assistant.
You approve that job description as a deputy clerk?
Finance specialist / treasurer would be the next one.
Just saying that's how I published that job description.
Yep.
So if you want to change the title of that, we're gonna have to do that.
I don't think it'll be a title change. It's just,
Okay,
just
okay.
content.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep.
Okay, so
Hmm.
are you looking to me to make these suggested changes or just send out the,
Send it to, if you can just gather the content for us and email it out to us when you can tomorrow or next day.
and I think all of you have that, so I will forward the email from the original one that has all that.
Perfect.
Do you have the red line one also?
Great.
Yes, I think that was in the email as well.
Okay, any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, motion carries. All right, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I so move.
Second?
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, the continuation council meeting is adjourned.